Imagine a soul that never committed murder, never stole, never lied in a court of law. A soul that went to church, prayed its rosary, and by all outward appearances, was good. Now, imagine that same soul standing before the throne of God, hearing the final, irreversible verdict: damnation. This isn't a fictional horror story. It's the recorded vision of a saint, a terrifying glimpse into how a seemingly devout life can end in eternal tragedy. The reason why will challenge everything you think you know about being a good person. To understand this chilling vision, we have to know the visionary. Sister Maria Faustina Kowalska, a simple Polish nun in the 1932. She wasn't a theologian or a scholar. She was a humble woman who received extraordinary private revelations from Jesus Christ himself. These conversations, these visions, were meticulously recorded in her diary, a spiritual classic now known as Divine Mercy in My Soul. And while it's filled with messages of God's infinite love and mercy, it also contains some of the most sobering warnings ever given to humanity. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to join our community as we explore these profound truths. In entry 1486 of her diary, Faustina writes about being taken in spirit to the judgment of a specific soul. She doesn't name the person, only that it was a soul she knew, and one that others considered holy. The experience begins not with fire and demons, but with a profound, piercing silence. The soul stands alone, stripped of all earthly titles, accomplishments, and reputations. It's just the soul and its creator. And the first thing that happens is a terrifying, total illumination. The soul sees its entire life, not as it remembered it, but as God saw it. Every thought, every word, every hidden intention is laid bare. Every grace offered by God, and every time that grace was ignored or squandered. The soul saw the moments it could have shown love but chose indifference. The times it could have offered forgiveness but held on to resentment. It saw its prayers, not as a beautiful offering, but as a distracted, mechanical routine. It was a life that looked good on the surface, a carefully maintained facade, but the foundation was hollow. The soul's defense began to form, a justification many of us might use, but I did no great evil. This is the heart of the warning for good people. The soul's defense was not about what it did, but what it didn't do. I did not kill. I did not steal. I did not commit adultery. It listed the big commandments it had successfully avoided. And in its own mind, this was enough. It had checked the boxes. It had maintained a clean record. It expected praise, or at the very least, a passing grade. But it had fundamentally misunderstood the nature of its relationship with God. It wasn't a checklist. It was supposed to be a love affair. God's response wasn't one of anger, but of profound sorrow. The accusation wasn't about great evil, but about a great lack of love. The soul had received countless graces, divine inspirations, and opportunities for sanctity, but it had responded with mediocrity. It was lukewarm. This is a direct reference to the book of Revelation, where God says to the church in Laodicea, "I know your works. You are neither cold nor hot. I wish that you were either cold or hot. So, because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth." This soul was about to experience the meaning of those words. So, what is this spiritual lukewarmness? It's not outright rejection of God. It's worse. It's indifference. It's treating God like a casual acquaintance you meet for an hour on Sunday. It's the prayer said without thought, the charity given without love, the mass attended out of habit rather than devotion. It's the sin of being good enough. It's the comfort of avoiding major sins while never striving for heroic virtue. It's a soul that has lost its first love, coasting on past merits, completely unaware that its spiritual engine has stalled. Tied directly to lukewarmness was the sin of ingratitude. The soul saw the thousands upon thousands of gifts it had received every single day. The gift of life, of health, of family, of faith. But its response had been one of complaint and entitlement. It focused on the small things that went wrong rather than the monumental things that were right. This constant, low-grade negativity, this failure to give thanks, was revealed to be a poison. It soured the soul, making it incapable of receiving or giving love. It was a constant rejection of the giver of all gifts. Then, Faustina saw the punishments. What's terrifying is that they weren't arbitrary. Each torment was a direct consequence of the soul's life on earth. She describes specific torments. First, the loss of God. This wasn't just an absence. It was a spiritual suffocation, an eternal agony of knowing the ultimate good you were made for, and that you can never, ever have it. Second, a perpetual remorse. The soul eternally sees its wasted chances, a constant, gnawing awareness of its own foolish choice. It cannot forget. It cannot stop seeing what could have been. Third, she saw a fire, but described it as a purely spiritual fire, the fire of God's wrath, which penetrates the soul without destroying it. A pain beyond any physical description. And fourth, the company. The soul was not alone. It was in the constant, hateful company of Satan and the other damned souls. All love is gone. All kindness is gone. There is only mutual hatred, blame, and despair. They torment each other for eternity, a society built on pure malice. And here is the most crucial point in the entire vision. God did not send this soul to hell. Faustina watched as the soul, after seeing the truth of its life and the nature of sin, made a final, conscious choice. In its pride and despair, it chose to reject God's mercy. It plunged itself into the abyss. It's a terrifying confirmation of Catholic teaching. Hell is a definitive self-exclusion from communion with God. It's a choice we make with thousands of small decisions every single day. The vision was so real, so horrifying, that Faustina herself nearly died of fright. She wrote in her diary, "I would have died from the very sight of these tortures if the power of God had not supported me." This wasn't a detached observation for her. She felt the weight of this lost soul. The experience ignited in her a burning desire to pray for sinners, to offer her own sufferings in reparation, and to spread the message of divine mercy before it was too late for others. So how does this happen? How can a person pray, go to church, and still be on this path? The vision exposes the great illusion of piety. It's the danger of confusing religious activity with a relationship with God. You can say 1,000 rosaries, but if your heart isn't in it, they can become empty words. You can attend daily mass, but if you walk out unchanged and uncharitable to your neighbor, it's a ritual, not a communion. This soul mistook the map for the destination. It followed the rules of religion but never fell in love with the God of religion. But this vision was not given to inspire despair. It was given to inspire urgency. It's a severe warning, but it's embedded within a larger message. the message of divine mercy. The entire purpose of Faustina's mission was to remind the world that God's mercy is greater than our sin. He is not a cosmic scorekeeper waiting for us to fail. He is a father running to embrace his prodigal son. But we have to choose to turn back. We have to acknowledge our poverty and ask for his help. The door of mercy is wide open, but the door of justice awaits. How do we avoid this fate? We have to get brutally honest with ourselves. We have to move beyond the "I didn't kill anyone" mentality. Ask yourself, am I hot or cold? Or am I comfortably lukewarm? When I pray, am I talking to a person I love, or am I just reciting words? Do I thank God for the small things, or do I live in a state of constant, low-level complaint? Do I use my time, talent, and treasure for His glory, or just for my own comfort? This isn't about scaring ourselves into perfection. It's about a sincere self-examination that leads to conversion. The warning from Saint Faustina's vision is a call to move from being merely good to striving for holiness. Holiness isn't about mystical visions or grand gestures. It's about doing ordinary things with extraordinary love. It's choosing patience when you want to be angry. It's choosing to pray for 5 sincere minutes instead of 30 distracted ones. It's choosing gratitude over complaint. It's choosing love, again and again and again, in the small, unseen moments of our day. That is what builds a life that God recognizes not as a hollow facade, but as a true home for His Spirit. The soul in Faustina's vision was not a monster. It was a mirror, a warning that the path to perdition isn't always a steep, a sudden drop. Sometimes it's a slow, comfortable, downward slope of mediocrity. The choice between lukewarmness and a life on fire for God is made today, in this very moment. Which path are you on? Let me know in the comments what part of this vision was the most impactful for you. Thank you for watching.